Okay, sorry about that, chat. I appear to be back now. College internet settings, sometimes a little bit dubious. No, daily D&T is pre-recorded. So I've recorded like 15 of those ahead of time. That's still happening, don't worry. So I have those all set up to go. Let's see. So for all of this week and all of next week, they're already recorded. And then I've received donations to keep it funded for 2 more weeks after that. So when I get back from Latin Academy, or if I get like a night off, I might go and like record the next batch. I had a lot of fun recording those, and people seem to really like them. I'm getting like a lot of comments on the YouTube channel about them. That was a good experiment. Yeah. So tap, put counters on it. All right. So sacrifice an artifact. Sacrifice this. Put its counters on a creature. Guess I'll put that on my Ravager. Ability, yes. Let's see, 6 plus 4 seems like a good number. All right. Is there a decay in my future? There is not a decay in my future. No, Carino, I don't need to attack first and then sack everything, because like playing the other Ravager pre-combat and then like tapping puts the extra counter on it. And if my opponent does something like Hercules recall me, I can still go and get the Chalice back on board afterwards, have something back on board. Yeah, so yesterday Mextortion posted a screenshot on Twitter of like a giant Vault Scourge with Sword of Truth and Justice on it, and I knew what I needed to play this morning. Like, I love Sword of Truth and Justice. Been very happy with that card in D&T, and the people I've sent lists to have really liked it as well. Like Dr. Bill from chat sent me a screenshot of like a Brightling with it on that and a couple of +1/+1 counters that was pretty good. And he said it was super helpful in the mirror. Although I think the second time he played the mirror, he ended up losing because his opponent had like both Sword of War and Peace and Sword of Light and Shadow in their deck for some reason, and he got outpaced. Let's see. Turn 1, Chalice of the Void, you say? Keep. I'm gonna guess that this is like Delver. Show me Spell Pierce. Nope. Well, I like my odds of winning this match now. Red and 6. Go ahead. My own life total is going to take a bit of a beating to my ancient tombs. But I don't think I'm actually in a bad position. Like, I could just, like, play Hangerback Walker for X equals 2, and sometime just create enough idiots that I can chump block this forever. I still think I want to play around Daze by playing a Soul End. Yeah, I've done some weird things for local metagames. That's just to grow the Tarmogoyf. That's not a mistake, in case anyone was curious. I think I take this hit. Lotus Petal I like. Does that mean I am just supposed to jam Sword of Truth and Justice here? Probably not. Like, I can go Sword, Equip, hit them for 4, grow Hangerback Walker by 2. But I take 2 damage in order to do that, and take at least 3 more on the back end. I'd also probably end up taking 2 more the following turn in order to grow my Hangerback Walker. Although I guess if I do, like, go in on the sword this turn, the Hangerback Walker will just be bigger than the Tarmogoyf forever. think this line's fine, unless my opponent draws another Tarmogoyf this turn. Just that one. I would not like to proliferate my Chalice. Ravager? A Ravager, you say? So I can play Ravager, attack with Hangerback Walker, hit them, put counters on my stuff, proliferate both creatures, sack Hangerback Walker, create a bunch of Thopters, jump block, and ruin my opponent. Sounds great. I'll put the counter here. Then proliferate both creatures. Done. Just to throw it out there, if I didn't have this Chalice, like a Stifle would be so terrifying. I will sacrifice this artifact. So I'll block. Sacrifice this artifact. Tarmogoyf doesn't have trample, so I am happy. And my opponent is very, very, very dead. Alright, so we are playing against Rug Delver. I'm going to want my Ratchet Bombs for sure. And Snaring Bridge is probably good enough. It can be awkward at times, but I still think I'll play it. Like, the big Tarmogoyfs are something that I'm scared of. Plague Engineer and Diabolic Edict are maybes. Like, Plague Engineer can get rid of True Name Nemesis, can get rid of, like, Young Pyromancer tokens if my opponent has gone that route with deck building, although that's rare. Can get rid of non-thresholded Nimble Mongoose. Let's figure out what I want to cut and go from there. So even though my opponent has Wrenn in 6, I think my Phyrexian Revoker is going to be the weakest card. So I'm going to start there. Thought-Knot Seer loses a little bit of utility on the draw, in my opinion. I'm just not sure how heavily I want to lean on the black cards because they're going to be difficult to cast. If I bring these in, when I'm on the draw, I'd probably board Thorns out. And then I would need to make one more cut. I could cut like a Thought-Knot Seer and play the black cards. That's probably fine. I'm not 100% sure on whether these are strong enough, but I'm going to give it a go. I guess I also could have considered like boarding my sword out, but I like it too much. Alright, this is a strong hand. Like, we have a lifelinker. If we get something that grows our stuff, we have, like, 2 Chalice of the Void, so even if the first gets countered, it's okay. Now I have to decide how I want to play this game. So I can just jam Chalice on 1 this turn into Daze and Force, and then try to follow it up next turn with another Chalice and a Wasteland or Vault Scourge. I could, like, intentionally choose to play around Daze by playing Vault Scourge this turn. I think I'm just going to take the highest upside play here in Chalice. You really like Wasteland. I don't know that I really like Wasteland when I'm on the draw with my opponent already having a threat in play. Like, I know my opponent mulligans, so, like, there's some chance that I might just, like, get them. But if this Delver blind flips, and I'm going to rely on Ancient Tomb mana for multiple turns, I may end up, like, getting myself into a lot of trouble. I'm going to take the high upside play here and see if I can invalidate a huge portion of their deck. I accept. And Mactortion, thank you very much for the affirmation. I really like drawing that pedal. So now I can either Chalice and Vault Scourge, or Chalice and Ratchet Bomb, or Chalice and Waste while playing around Spell Pierce. So I can go Wasteland them, get rid of their island, go to second main phase, Chalice, and Pedal. Yeah. Cast your Brainstorm. Nope. Nice. Alright, so now we've got the Ratchet Bomb to clean up the Delver. Don't think I want to pay life to get this Vault Scourge into play currently. If I had a Steel Overseer or a Sword in hand or something, it'd be a different matter. But I have this black mana source in hand. Oh, nice. Yeah, so, like, we'll go down to 7 off the Delver, but then we have, like, the board stabilized, and if they miss a land drop, everything is absolutely grand. Bye-bye, Delver. Hey, Arkin. Let's play a redundant Chalice on 1. I have way too many 2-drops to consider getting cute and doing something like putting 1 on 2. And now I'll just, like, peck my opponent to death. Like, I know they have a Ponder. Like, they won't cast that even if they get a land. Yeah, we're done here. Steel Stompy proving itself wrong. 20 turn clock, let's go! I mean, I'm a D&T player, right? So, like, I'm used to, like, 10 turn clocks. Like, you lock your opponent out and then you peck them to death with a 2-2. Like, I am all about that life. Arc, I hope streaming has gone well for you recently. I haven't watched any streams or videos at all since I got to Latin Academy. There's just no time. I think I only got to stream once last week. It is what it is. I love this job so much, but for the 3 weeks that I'm here, everything is just absolutely crazy. Right now, I'm prepping for a 45-person live action, like, board game / role play experience that simulates, like, Roman war and economics. It's like a mix between Settlers of Catan and Risk. So that'll be happening on the 4th of July, so I have, like, 3 days to get everything all together for that. It's something I've been working on over the past few years, and I'm super, super proud of it. Kids love it. Oh, yeah, it's one of those jobs where, like, I'm expected to be at breakfast at 8 in the morning, and our end-of-day staff meeting tends to be over about 11 p.m. So it's an exhausting experience, and you're on for, you know, basically the entire time that you're awake, minus a few minutes to wind down at the end of the day. But it's so worth it. It also means I don't have a lot of downtime to do things like play Magic. Like, I've got my Switch with me, and I think I maybe have, like, 2 hours of Switch time in the past week and a half. Yeah, 3rd in the trophy race is great. I think I've played two leagues since this new season started. Gotta work on this number when Latin Academy's done. Not expecting to 5-0 today. Maxtortion tells me that the deck always goes 4-1. It's, like, basically cursed. I did not see challenge lists published yet. Man, why would you play any deck other than this one when the opening hands look like this? Like, this is awesome. Like, we get turn 1, Chalice on 1, turn 2, Thorn and Vault Scourge, with the other one being like a manland. I think Barbara played some, like, hot pile for the challenge. They looked really interesting. There's, like, chalices and trinispheres and a bunch of weird green creatures. I think, like, Orcish Lumberjack was in there too, and, like, Titania. It looked cool. I didn't have time to, like, actually, like, analyze the deck list or anything, but I just saw a post in passing. I'll probably end up playing that deck. So there was no shuffle with the Ponder after some deliberation there. Yeah, I think Force of Negation is a great card and that people should be playing. Great! Great! I mean, it's great until they go, like, Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, and I die. Oh no! Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Crap. Maybe they'll put in Omniscience and I can buy myself a turn. Oh. He indeed did it. So I'm going to need to think about whether or not I want to play any more cards, or whether I want to concede. So, like, I have 3 flyers that can chump block Grizzlebrand for 3 turns. But doing so means I, like, lose my City of Traders. And, like, my way to beat a Grizzlebrand is, like, make a creature that is larger than a Grizzlebrand. And I don't know that I can do that once I lose this City of Traders. No, there's 1 Edict in the sideboard. I think I'm just going to scoop this one up here. Like, even if 50% or more of the cards that they draw are blanks, like, as soon as they draw another Show and Tell or a Sneak Attack off Grizzlebrand, I'm just dead. Alright. So I like Edict. I like Warping Whale. I like Thorns and Bridge. If I have some stuff that's real bad, Karn can help fill the gaps. So, what's bad? Ballista, Hangerback, Walker are kind of medium. Sword is a little slow. Vault Scourge flies, but otherwise doesn't really have a ton going for it. Like, my life total doesn't matter that much. I'm really just trying to, like, stop my opponent from going off with Chalice and Thorn. And Revoker to a lesser extent. I think Vault Scourge blocking is, like, fine versus something big like a Merit Lodge, but less fine against something big like the Grizzlebrand, where they're also, like, gaining 7 life and drawing 7 cards in addition. Carino, if you've played with or against Plague Engineer, you've probably felt how warping that card is on matches. That is why I opted for the Black Splash. The list is Maxtortion's list, but I think it's a very, very good place to be. So I think I'm just going to trim Hangerbacks, because as before, Walking Ballista can just, like, laser the face to finish off a game. I would like to play first. And Shikalu, thank you very much for following. This one's hard. So I have a turn 2 Chalice and an Edict. I'd really prefer turn 1 Chalice. But Edict just means I'm not stone cold dead to a Show and Tell. So I think I keep this one. I don't feel great about it, but I think I keep it. Well, you'll see a lot of D&T content on this channel. And more generally, I love Chalice of the Void, so that tends to show up a lot as well. So you're in a good place. You're amongst friends. So here's how I want this game to go. I play Chalice. It resolves. My opponent plays Show and Tell. Puts in Emrakul. I untap and Edict Emrakul, and it resolves. Then my opponent dies. That's the plan. Yeah, a lot of the Steel Stompy lists that I've seen floating. Ooh, that's probably better than Chalice. But it's close. So if they have Soul Land Show and Tell, then playing Thorn is important. Or if they have regular land Lotus Petal Show and Tell, the Chalice is important. Yeah, so turn 1 main phase Brainstorm either means, like, my opponent was... Okay. Am I just, like, getting ghosted here and they saw my hand and they were done with me? Or, like, did my opponent Brainstorm lock themselves and they know they're dead? Unclear. Yeah, Max Torsion, I was going to cast the Chalice there. This is an easy mulligan. I have no sort of interaction whatsoever. This is also an easy mulligan. I have no lands. On the draw, turn 2 Chalice if I spike a land. Ugh. Is 4 cards better? Because, like, a hand that has just Soul Land and Chalice, or Soul Land and Thorn, or Soul Land Revoker, is probably better than this. I'm just dead if I whiff on a land. I'm dead if my opponent can beat a Chalice. And I'm slow. I'm gonna ship this one. This is actually a really good hand. Yes. How many mana sources do I have? Let's math. So I have 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 25 hits for lands. I'm pretty likely to just draw one. Let's send that to the bottom. This swamp's real friendly, though. It's coming to hang out. Hello! Yeah, if I could London Ball, some of those hands might have been a little better, and I wouldn't have gone to 4 cards. But I feel real good about this 4-card hand. When do we get the next core set, by the way? I'm sort of like out of touch with Magic news. The spoilers started like a day after everything else from the last set was done spoiling. So, or I guess like released. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Don't put in Omniscience. Just put in a dude. Give me Emrakul. Emrakul would be ideal here. Ah! Jeez, it comes online tomorrow? Wow. I don't have time to, but I really need to sit down with a spoiler and like see how many cards there are that actually matter. Alright, you sneak attack into Grizzlebrand, just hemorrhage life. Like if you just like draw 14 and pass, this factory might just kill you. So like if they draw 7, they go to 4, and that's just 2 hits of factory. Oh man. I will be taking a minute to think about my turn, though. There are worlds where I'm supposed to give them a 3-turn clock in exchange for playing a Chalice of the Void this turn. To prevent them from cantripping into like an Abrade for the bridge. I don't know, if I just hit them though, it shuts off the Ancient Tomb. And it will make it harder for them to actually like cast Abrade and sneak something in. So the worst case scenarios right now are they have a 3rd Grizzlebrand and they Lotus Petal it in and block my factory. It's very bad for me. The other worst case scenario is I play Scared, don't attack, they show and tell in Omni Emrakul. And they've discarded an Emrakul, so they probably have another. They've also discarded a show and tell, which means they probably have another. It is also possible they have the 3rd Grizzlebrand. I'm very aware what'll happen if they have Grizzlebrand. It's bad. I'd love to draw a Revoker. So I am relatively confident that they have both Show and Tell and Emrakul in hand. They have discarded another Grizzlebrand. Do they have a third? If they have a third, this plays terrible. If they don't have a third, I shut off. I don't shut off, but I make it much harder to do like Show and Tell plus something else next turn, unless they also have Omniscience. But if they have Omniscience, I'm in bad shape anyway. So I'm going in. I think I need to play towards the high upside line here. Note if they just like trade an Emrakul and a Lotus Petal for Factory, I'm very, very okay with that. But playing Chalice on 0 will also hurt me. Alright, they had a third. I think I need to save the Chalice to play it on 1 next turn. I think it's pretty likely that they have a land. This has been a bit of an unfortunate game in that I've talked about my reasoning for why I'm making plays, and then the worst case scenarios are happening. Well, not the worst case. Blood Moon is totally fine. But the discarding of the Grizzlebrands may be because they're at 4 life. Like, so for example, they have 7 cards, right? So if we assume it's like Show and Tell, Omniscience, Emrakul, Land, that's good enough to win the game on its own. So keeping some cantrips or some things like Abrade or Echoing Truth might just be better than keeping Grizzlebrand. Mountain. Chalice. Similarly, Force of Will might be something that would be kept. Note the basic swamp here, coming in clutch. Honestly, like, this Blood Moon might actually be actively good for me. Like, it's stopping them from taking damage off of these and losing these lands, but it also means that, like, they don't get to fetch anymore. My own city isn't going away. My other city isn't going away either. Is this the pause of shame where we consider, like, Force of Willing a 1/1? Yeah. Pitching a Show and Tell. Alright, does that mean you have another Show and Tell, or does that mean you intend on winning this game via Sneak Attack plus Answering Bridge in one turn? Yeah, so for example, this Brainstorm here is not a good Magic card. Like, if they don't get something to do here, or like another Island plus Ponder or something like that, they might Brainstorm lock themselves and give me a couple turns to do cool things. I guess I'll play this, because now I have Edict that plays through Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm. Am I supposed to put this on 1? I think so. But it's close. I just have like so many 2s as my winners that I don't know that I'm supposed to just like go all in on answering Echoing Truth or Abrade. Hardcast Force. There's this island, though. Why did you use 2 petals? I'm just going to chalk that up to a mistake. More so than anything else. A Ravager, you say? Oh no, not a red source. Note that if I draw an artifact, I will just have lethal. I can attack with Ravager, and then if I'm willing to go all in on sacking the bridge plus the other artifact, I can just kill my opponent. But it would have to be after no blocks, because like a Grizzlebrand or an Emrakul could jump in to save the day. Okay. That's scary. You would would like to blow up my bridge, you say? I would like a 2/2. No, my opponent tapped poorly and tapped this. Or no, wait, no, they had to brainstorm. I take it back. Sure, you have an Emrakul. I can answer that. So that's going to be a Grizzlebrand. So I guess I should Edict now and get rid of the Emrakul. Because I can't win this game if I get rid of all of my permanents, but I can win this game if they just attack in for 7, gain some more life, draw some more cards. It'll be hard, but like, there are timelines. It says my opponent is waiting to pay, that I'm waiting for my opponent to pay costs. I don't know what that could be for. Like, it would have to be something like a Force of Will. Or a Daze. Alright. What do you have off the sneak attack? It is Grizzlebrand. Just 7 life. Actually, we'll see whether or not they're even willing to draw the cards. They may just need to, like, keep themselves at that life total. Because if they draw 7 and don't hit Lotus Petal to put in a creature to block, they are dead to any artifact. So it may end up just being better for them to not draw 7. Very hard to tell without knowing what's in their hand. Note, I am quite scared. It's very likely that I will die over the course of the next few turns to this sneak attack. To be fair, sort of quick, I think we're only in this because my opponent has made a few tactical errors. Does this Thorn of Amethyst matter? I don't think this matters, and this may just be better as a +1/+1 counter on Arcbound Ravager. So, like, they can already show and tell. They can already, like, cantrip into activate sneak attack. If they have another island, they can already cantrip into activate sneak attack. So I think I'm just turning this into damage. I mean, not drawing is just respecting your life total, right? And your ability to cantrip into a win. I mean, I don't know that I would have drawn in their position. I mean, like, the thing is, if they just... Ooh. If they just... This is a mountain. Why am I thinking so hard about that? If they just look for Lotus Petal, that may be playing towards not losing instead of winning. No, I don't have a Tear Train Clock, because this is not an artifact at all, right? We have the Blood Moon. I agree with Control for Days as well. One, two, three, four, 5 permanents. I think I'm just going to hold this. So any artifact represents lethal here. I'll play that now to play around who knows what. All right. Sacrifice an artifact. Sacrifice this artifact. Don't have some stupid lightning bolt or something. Yeah! Yeah! Won the mole to 4 against a very difficult matchup. Feels good. Feels good. Alright, I'm going to take 30 seconds to run to the restroom here. I'll be right back. I'm going to leave the deck list up, though, so people can look at it. Yeah, we're hoping to break the 4-1 curse, get the 5-0, prove that this deck's sweet. I mean, the fact that we were in that game at all is just like a great testament to the power level of the cards in this deck. You know, when you look at some of these cards, like on their own, they're not really all that amazing, right? So like, when you look at things like, let's just make a pile. So like when you look at like these 13 cards in particular, when you go and look at them, you don't think like, oh man, this is like clearly a legacy staple or anything like that. But like with the synergy that these have with other pieces of the deck, they're actually just great. Yeah, Max Dorshan, I did get that game. Scoreboard. Got a little lucky. Opponent probably made some mistakes that that definitely helped me out. A few of those brainstorms looked a little wonky. Playing the Blood Moon was maybe a little bit questionable, and maybe that Blood Moon shouldn't have been boarded in the first place. Because like I'm a colorless deck, right? So like ignoring my black cards that I would have brought in, Like, you're taking me off of Thought-Knots here, or you're just turning my lands into colorless lands. Like, while that slows me down, it's not actually all that big of a deal. Especially by the time that you cast a Blood Moon, right? So if Blood Moon happens on your turn 3 naturally, like, I've already gotten a turn or two of acceleration off, and you may actually just be, like, preserving my life total or stabilizing my mana base. Yeah, deck confirmed sweet. Is that Maverick player? No, not Maverick. They played a bunch of, like, Bant, Leovold, and 4-color nonsense stuff in the past. Or no, it's like basically Maverick with just Leovold looking at a deck list. Okay. Huh. How good is this ballista? So the deck list will look something like this, just for people in chat. You know, maybe a little bit different, but it's the usual Maverick Green Sun nonsense. 5th Green Sun, even. I think I have to ship this one. Nope. Yup. Soul Land would be hot. So we got like Mom, Birds, Green Sun, all that stuff will be out before I can do this Chalice. Then 3-ish Swords to Plowshares. This is going to the bottom. Nice Mother of Runes. It would be a shame if something happened to her. I think I'm going to save the Revoker for something else. And just get the first one of these onto the battlefield. I don't need to remove the Mother immediately. Like, this card has almost no text in this matchup other than, like, against Vault Scourge specifically. So if I can save this to instead shoot down something else, I probably will. You offer me a trade. So if I don't trade here, I'm going to take another hit from it next turn too, because I won't want to trade any of those bodies either. And I have another Ballista for when I get mana heavy towards the end game. If I don't trade for this Mom, I think it ends up being Lightning Bolt. I think I accept. It's not like happy accept, but I think it's accept. So the thing is, a lot of the 2-drops that they play may end up having 2 toughness, right? So like they have things like Teague and Stoneforge that I'm not going to be able to pick down. If I don't draw another land, I'm just going to lose this one to my mulligan plus wasteland. Knight is going to be strong here. Drawing a land means I can revoke that, and then just have a 5/5 attacker to worry about. Am I chump blocking for 5 life? I don't think I am yet. Yeah, there are plenty of timelines involving a Steel Overseer sticking and growing the Vault Scourge where I can outrace this knight. Those timelines also involve my opponent not really doing much else, or not choosing to blow up my Revoker with Kusali Pride Mage, though. So, there's that. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So this will be a post-combat blow up my Revoker, use Knight, and Wasteland. Probably my Blink Moth, though maybe my City. Oh. Well, that was a very happy misclick, I think. If they had 2 more mana, that could have been like another Pride Mage or something like that. Now I need to think about this turn. I can play Ballista for 2, kill Dryad Arbor and Mum, and severely limit their mana production. And they'll like have to choose between attacking me and wastelanding me. Or I can just like revoke Knight, protect my remaining 2 lands, and play Overseer, and try to build a board that will just be bigger than the Knight. This will be the only turn where I will have the opportunity to cast Ballista for X equals 2, though. If I play... If I play Overseer and Revoker, my opponent will probably just attack in for 7, though. Like, swing both creatures in. Or all 3 creatures in. So it may be better to play Ballista. That's weird. I like Overseer, Revoker next turn, and just like Ballista for 1 instead. Yeah, I don't know how I end up beating the Knight if I don't Overseer this turn. Oh, you're right. I didn't consider that. That seems like a really weird time to go and fetch. Oh, it's just to grow the night. I see. Yeah. So I'll take all of that here. Oh my god! Okay. Alright. So this is a construct, this is a construct. So I need to activate this now. Oh god, that's so good. Wow. I was planning on like blocking Knight mid-combat with Ballista and then shooting 2 things. Alright, so like regardless, that happens. They can name construct. I'm okay with that. Turns Ballista into a 1/1. So I can go Vault Scourge here, Revoker here, Ballista here, and shoot Thalia to kill Thalia. I end up not losing either of these creatures, losing my Ballista, killing the Thalia. Yeah. So my opponent has a 7/7. I can just trade 2 bodies for that. Like I can block with Vault Scourge and Revoker, for example, and end up having because like, I'm fine trading the Revoker away once the Knight dies. So I think I make no attacks this turn. And then I can like animate a factory. Yeah. I need to think about whether or not I want to attack with Vault Scourge. Because like on my opponent's turn, I can animate factory, put a counter on it. So it's 4, 5, 6, tap factory, that's 7 power. I might need to like live in fear of a removal spell or a wasteland though, and not make an attack. I'm not going to make an attack. I'm going to tap this prior to blocks. If my opponent has Swords to Plowshares, I will regret double blocking. Because I don't really want to give up the Vault Scourge. But if they do have Swords to Plowshares, I still lose 2 creatures anyway. I'll lose my best creature, but I'll still probably end up with the bigger creatures at the end of the day. I'm gonna just like throw the whole team in front of the bus here. Abrupt Decay targeting Phyrex and Revoker. Well, I mean, it's something. I don't know that I'm supposed to sack this Lotus Petal to start growing the Blink Moth Nexus. I'm just going to put a counter on my construct here. Note the fact that this thing has Death Touch. Very good. Very, very good. Because I'm dumb, Max. A Ravager, you'd say. Well, that's pretty good. This isn't a construct, right? No, it's a beast. Am I willing to trade Thought-Knot Seer for their Plague Engineer plus one other random card? I think I am. I think I'm willing to give them that redraw, because what I have going on is probably better than what they can top deck into. I do need to like respect my own life total though. Like I'm at 8. Yeah, because I think the Overseer is more valuable than the Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah, I think they're obligated to make that trade. Well, that's a very good draw. This Chalice probably just becomes Ravager food. Honestly, the Thorn probably becomes Ravager food as well. I really needed their one draw off the Thought-Knot Seer to not be Swords to Plowshares there. That's a problem. Life's weird now. How defensively am I playing this? Because I can just, like, hold back my big Ravager. I think I was going to hold back both of my creatures. Play a weird tango. So if they attack in, I block with the big Ravager. Alternatively, I could just... So I can block with big Ravager. If I do, they use 1/1/1 counter. So I can just attack with small Ravager, sack it to big Ravager, grow big Ravager. Yeah, I think I like that better. So now they don't get new Jitte counters. Hmm. Hmm. Well, that seems great. So I sack. Oh no, like I still have Jitte counters on board, so I can't just kill them here. So if I sack Ravager to itself here, I can use a counter, try to kill the Hierarch. I can use a couple of counters and kill the Hierarch, and then be left with a Walking Ballista and Blink Moth Nexus on board. Oh, right, yeah. So instead, this may just be block with Ballista, shoot them. And then finish them off with, like, Ravager. So if they attack in, I shoot them to 6, and then I have lethal on board. Ah. Alright. So do I want a 6/6 or do I want to ping them for 1? I probably want a 6/6. Since they're about to gain a bunch of life. This game got crazy complicated. Unfortunately, that Sword of Light and Shadow gets back Quasali Pride Mage. So I think I'm going to have a 1-turn window to do anything that matters. So this is 1, 2, 3, plus 6, 9. And there's already this Jitte on board. So I don't know that I can just go all in on the Inkmoth Nexus. Or the Blinkmoth Nexus. Alright. So if I animate... I need to play that. So if I animate this in and attack in... Okay, I think my opponent is going to have Dryad Arbor, and I'm just, like, going to be dead to that. Yeah, like, attacking this Ravager is just, like, so bad. If they have Dryad Arbor and they just, like, block it, and then I'll just, like, die. So I think the only way I can possibly win involves, like, blocking this, my opponent not using Quasali Pride Mage. Yeah. It's probably just one. Alright. So Edict, Engineer, Warping Whale, Ratchet Bomb, we'll consider Karn and Bridge. Like I was just like one point of damage short there of like having a better chance to be in that game. My mistake of missing one counter on the Blink-Moth Nexus was relevant, but I don't think changed the course of that game. So these cards aren't really fantastic in the matchup. Those are probably going. And I'm eyeing the Bridges and Karns as well. Just like the ability to make large bodies matters in a matchup like this one. So like these aren't going, these aren't going, these aren't going, these aren't going, this isn't going. None of that stuff's going. So it'd have to be either like Thought-Knot Seers or some of these cards not coming in for any of this stuff. Like there's also worlds where I could trim some of this acceleration since the games are obviously going long. But I think the acceleration is good because you win a lot of these matchups by like powering out ahead of your opponent. It's possible that Karns are better than Thought-Knot Seers. Not 100% sure. Keep. Spellbomb? Okay. Spellbomb does seem questionable, but that's probably deck filler more than anything else. I think this one's probably over. Note I have them dead right now, 2 counters, but it's faster for me to attack. Pew, 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 indeed. I'm going for the mana gimp there. I could have done that with Revoker, but I'm more concerned about revoking Knight given the texture of this current hand. Okay, sure. Drawing a soul land would be amazing. I will accept drawing any land now. Almost. I'm in a very bad position if that's Knight. I'm just gonna lose this one to getting wastelanded out. Really gonna lose this one to getting wastelanded out. Oh, that's really nice. Kind of. I can just like revoke the Knight. No, I think I need this in play. Got a sword for me or something? A Gideon. That is good. I think we're donezo here, folks. Yeah. Revoker and Pithing Needle, different cards. Alright, well, we tried. Put up a heck of a fight in that one. But couldn't quite seal the deal. See if the 4-1 curse continues. Feel great about the deck list. You can have like the leyline versus fairy argument for those sideboard slots. But other than that, feeling pretty good about where all this stuff is at. Yeah, so like game one was a grind fest where their equipment eventually pulled them through, and then we sort of like got a free one off the power of our own cards, and then we stumbled on mana. Like if we didn't stumble on mana that game, like we could have like been playing Magic, but it still would have been really hard once that Ramunap Excavator was in play. So I don't love this hand, but I think I'll be keeping it. That sword. Is that what I need? So right now, my plan is to just like play out City of Traders and play 2 drops for 2 to 3 turns. When I make my next land drop, is this what I want to do? So let's say I go like turn 1 Ravager into turn 2 Ballista, into turn 3 Sword, into draw land, Sword equip, growing both of these. Is that my game plan? Or do I just want to try and hit more mana or more things that I can play on 2? I think I need to bottom this, not because it's bad, but because if my opponent is playing a Wasteland deck and I lose this City of Traders, I just am really going to be hurting for another mana source. So let's bottom that. New plan. Do this. Man, opponent did not blink there. No brainstorm, no force. So that just means like this is like show and tell or something, and I'm gonna be sad. Or is it just like ant and I've gotten them? I don't think I want to play the Revoker until I have more information. So I think this is just going to be a Ravager turn. The Thorn resolves, but the Ravager doesn't? That seems really weird to me. Does that mean the Force was the natural draw for turn? So what am I playing against? Is it Grixis control? And the Flooded Strand is one of their flex lands? Doesn't make sense for it to be Miracles. Polluted Delta is a very bad card in Miracles now that we have access to Prismatic Vista. Grixis control makes sense. In which case, playing out a creature will mean that a K command next turn could be real rough. Your Sneak and Show sense is tingling. Yeah, like Flooded Strand would just be so weird for Grixis control. Like they have better options. Especially since some of them are getting greedier and slamming Wrenn and 6 in there. If it's Grixis control, I name Jace. If it's Sneak and Show, I probably name Grizzlebrand. But potentially Sneak Attack as well. Sneak Attack costs 5 mana, though. I'm gonna name Grizzlebrand. Like, it's still bad if they have a 7/7 flying lifelinker, but maybe I get there. So before I make attack, I think I'm going to Thought-Knot Seer. Well, I have named the wrong card. Should have named Sneak Attack. Guess I'll take an Emrakul. Ripping another Soul Land would be sick. Yeah, so like the good news is I have a respectable clock, and my opponent needs to hit land in order to cast a Sneak Attack, and I get another turn after that. Plus, I can just survive the Emrakul attack. I don't know that I'll be able to put enough permanents into play. Oh, did you just spike Show and Tell there? Oh, well, that's super unfortunate. Maybe they'll put in Sneak Attack, and I get them with this Thought-Knot Seer. Oh man, it did not happen. How unfortunate. Okay, so I have 1, 2, so I have 5 permanents. So I can hit for 6, attack everything. Sack my board, play Ballista, shoot them. That doesn't do anything. And play another Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah, I think I was good other than them spiking Show until that turn. Because on a subsequent turn, I could just, like, bash through. That's really unfortunate. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 if they didn't block anything. All right. So be it. Oh yeah, my pedal costs 1, so I can't play another Thought-Knot Seer. You're correct. Alright, so what did I end up doing before? Was it Hangerbacks that I cut? I feel like it was Hangerbacks. Like Hangerbacks and the sword. Or no, Vault Scourge. And then kept 1 Hangerback. Sneak and Show's a really hard matchup for these sorts of decks. So, like, we'll probably end up losing this one and going 3-2 for the league. But if we go 3-2 when we play against, like, Sneak and Show twice and Maverick once, I'm perfectly fine with that, you know. Still 60%, still in the positive. Like, Sneak and Show is one of the best combo decks to be playing against the Chalice decks. Historically speaking. As a general Legacy deck, I don't mind it. But when I'm playing Chalice decks, I feel like I just have very little agency in the matchups. This hand is awesome. So playing Chalice versus Thorn on turn 1 is kind of weird. If I play Chalice on 1, it stops their first turn cantrip and allows me to potentially go Thorn and waste next turn. I guess if I, yeah, because, but at the same time, Thorn also stops a turn 1 cantrip and makes their petals worse for the rest of the game. I think I'm supposed to Thorn. I think it's very close. The Thorn's better if it just resolves. Oh man. Oh man. So now I can't play Chalice on 1. Well, I guess I could play Chalice on 1, but I really just want to Wasteland them. If they have Soul Land plus Show and Tell plus something else, I'm super punished for not Wastelanding. So I think I'm going to be Wastelanding. It means this Chalice isn't really getting into play this game, probably. But this can just be a huge, huge clock. Alright, so I can go Factory, use that to cast an Opal, then have Metalcraft so that I can animate the Factory and put a counter on it as well. Morphling, we are playing against Sneak and Show. We are down a game. This one's looking good, though. Not great, but good. It starts looking great if they play a non-basic land that I get to nug. And don't kill me with Show and Tell right here. Abrade, target the Thorn. Okay. So in response, I animate that. I guess let's make them big right now. Unsure currently, but I may end up playing as Chalice on 0 just to enable Metalcraft. Because I, need to wasteland my opponent. And ooh, that's very good insurance against a show and tell. Alright. So, no thought that occurs. Well, it's okay. So, do I need to play this Chalice on 0? I can just, tap Factory to itself here. And just, spend a turn growing it. The Chalice on 1 is potent if I draw a land. I guess I just need to think about, how soon do I need to start closing out this game? So I could go, Chalice on 0, tap Factory and Opal, play Ravager. Tap Overseer, grow everything except Factory, end up sacrificing the Chalice to the Ravager next turn, and try to aggro out my opponent in that way. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. And I'm going to tap this now to play around Sudden Shock on my Steel Overseer. Yes, that is the world I'm living in. I'm glad you asked. So I have a bridge for a show and tell. They're pretty far away from sneak attack. Yeah, Sudden Shock. As a D&T player, my mind tends to go towards those, worst case scenarios pretty quickly. Alright, so is the next turn the turn where the Overseer starts just swinging in? So right now I'd have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage, 8, 16. Assuming my opponent fetches, it's a 2-turn clock. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's really good. So I need to hold up this in order to have that. And my creatures also need to not get removed, but I think that's okay. Because my creatures are now out of Pyroclasm and Sudden Shock range, now that I've done this. Six, 12, 18, or 6 plus 9, 15. If I don't need to use the Warping Whale, then I can animate Mishra's Factory end of turn, grow them, and end up with larger creatures. No, I'm gonna push the damage now. and respect Grizzlebrand drawing cards if it somehow wiggles its way into play. If my opponent fetches, I would just have lethal by creating a 1/1 token. On that note, am I supposed to just fetch and force them into not fetching? So 3, 6, 9 on board. This would be the 10th on board. Yeah, I probably am. Alright. So let's play a Lotus Petal. So how much damage can I do this turn? So I go and I activate this. This is 3, 6, 9. I can sack the Lotus Petal and turn it into 10. $10, $11, don't Echoing Truth me? Yeah! Alright, don't think anything's going to change about boarding. Is this hand good enough? I have turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer on the draw. That will leave me with Mishra's Factory and City of Traders in play to start playing Overseers and Ravagers. Is this enough interaction? Alternatively, I can play City first, play Overseer and Petal on 1, play Thought-Knot on 2, lose my City, but have a more aggressive start. Reluctant to keep. So I think that drawing another land makes me want to lead on City and Overseer this turn. Because then I go Thought-Knot next turn, and then I have a follow-up land, so I can continue to play 2 drops. Sure, like, they run Brainstorm. Like, I accept that. But I think, like, given the number of hits on the top of my deck, this hand is just barely good enough. And it does play around Show and Tell into Omniscience into Emrakul. Oh, well, they just had the Emrakul. So I would need Diabolic Edict off the top. That was not Diabolic Edict. Okay. Is there any world in which I win this now? In order to win this, I need Edict, and I need to be able to cast it. So I have 2 theoretical mana. But I wouldn't have Metalcraft. So I guess I'm kind of getting bit here for playing out my Lotus Petal. So like I can play out more permanents, but like I will lose this city if I play a land, and I can play 2 more things and then just have my entire board annihilated. I am dead to that. My next card was not the Edict, so it did not matter. Womp womp. All right. Decklist feels great. I think we played a couple of hard matchups today. Definitely will be playing this again. I'll probably keep the cards for it and then stream again with this next time. Although I'll take a look at the Legacy Challenge stuff and see if there's anything from there that I liked better. That's all from me today, folks. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please follow me if you haven't already. My Legacy content is a little sporadic for the next 2 weeks, but it is consistent. There's daily D&T on YouTube on the Thraben University channel. If you aren't already watching that, feel free to check that out. And if you're really enjoying my content, please consider doing something like subscribing or supporting daily D&T. $12 supports a week of daily D&T or gets your deck on stream. Hi, Noah. You caught me live, and I'm about to, sign off. So, good news and bad news. Yeah, we indeed died there. They put in the Emrakul naturally instead of off Omniscience. So, we couldn't not sear it out of their hand. The keep was a little questionable. So, the hand was something like Thought Not Seer, Ravager, Overseer, City, Blink Moth, this, Petal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or maybe it was like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's like turn 1 threat, turn 2 Thought Not Seer. Yeah, so it was a tough one. I kept it because there's a lot of things off the top that can make it much better. You know, that hand gets so insane if we draw Thorn, Revoker, Chalice. It just becomes a top tier hand. And even if I just keep drawing 2 drops, it's still good. And there's 2 more Thorns over here, or a Bridge, or a Warping Whale that makes it very, very good as well. But kinda is what it is. All right, folks, there's currently no one else streaming Legacy, and I've got to run off to lunch, so I'm just going to let you go. Video will probably end up on YouTube in an hour or so. All right, cheers. I'll see you around.